Hey, I got part one of the reviewing of the reviewers today and reviewing, ordering from them, same company and service. But first let's do a performance in case you just want to see a trick. Then you don't have to listen to all the other stuff afterwards. So let's go to the performance of the trick first. Roll it. You know how in the training studio here, we focus on this, right? For this.
Yeah, mind over matter.
That's right. Mind over matter. So I wanted to do a little experiment to show you just how good a coach I am.
Okay.
Without actually lifting weights today. How long have we been personal
Wait a
training?
minute, you mean we're not doing any weights today?
We're doing weights today.
Oh,
This is your, consider this your warm-up, okay?
okay, fair enough.
Okay, so I'm gonna take, I got a copy of my house key.
Yeah.
So, you know how I explain, my eyes aren't very good either. We were just joking about how we didn't have glasses. There, let me see, there right on the ring. So, you know how I'm always saying it's mind over matter.
Yeah.
Because look at this little key.
Yeah.
It's tiny, right?
Yeah.
But you can't bend it, can you? Try to bend it. Try to bend it. Look how tiny it is.
You want me to really try?
Really try with all you got. Put everything into it. Everything. Like really give her.
It's gonna hurt my fingers.
Use some strength. Use some strength.
No, it's better.
So that tiny little key is defeating you. Right?
Okay.
Try it again. Try it again. One more time. Put all your strength into it. And you know what it is? It's because there's no leverage.
Right.
You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, if it was
So-
longer.
So if the key itself was really long,
Yeah.
then you could get
Yes.
on top of the ends of it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to try some coaching techniques. I want you to hold out your hand like that. Okay? I'm going to tap you on the hand.
Mhm.
And when I tap you on the hand,
Mhm.
you're going to feel a surge of power. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be like when you're in the middle of one of your sets and we're like, one more rep, just one more rep.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What's with the light?
That's so that we wash out our wrinkles.
All
Okay?
right.
So when I tap you on the palm of the hand, you're going to feel a surge of power come out through your muscles and you're going to be able to bend the coin.
Okay.
Bend the key.
Kryptonite. Like search of power.
We'll work on the coin next week. I don't think you can handle it this week yet. No, you got to take this seriously.
Okay.
If you don't take it seriously, it's not going to work because you know it's mind over matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so when I tap you in the hand, you're going to feel the surge and you're going to try to bend it again for everything you're worth.
Okay.
But when I tap you on the forehead,
Mm-hmm.
it's gone.
Okay.
The strength is gone
Okay.
because we don't want you to hurt yourself. You know how we work here, right? We do high intensity training, so the higher the intensity, the shorter the duration,
Yeah.
right? Shout out to all the high intensity trainers, Nautilus, Body by Science, Mike Mentzer, Dorian Yates. These are all the greats.
You mentioned Tony Greco in that
No, he's not part of the story. You're gonna have to edit that out. Anyway, nobody will know who we're talking about. So remember, surge of power when I touch your palm, back to normal when I touch your forehead.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
So you grab it with the other hand and hold out that hand. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, get ready.
Yeah.
Go! Try! Give her! Put some power into it! Put some power into it!
Look.
Try some more!
Keep bending.
Come on! Can you bend it more? Can you bend it more? Push! Put some strength into it! Come on, more! Come on! Bend! You've got strength now. Look at that! Go! Oh my goodness, look at that! Can you do more? Try! You want me to tap your hand again? Come on! You got some power. Let's see how much you got. Oh!
shit.
Oh my God, that's incredible. Back to normal.
Okay.
Back to normal.
Okay.
Relax. Just relax. You should feel back to normal now. You can check. See if you can bend it back straight. Probably won't have any strength. Your power's gone now. The strength's gone. See how you're very, very normal now? Let me see.
I don't think I bent it back at all.
Look at that. Show it to the camera.
Weird.
You want to see how strong your trainer is? Because
You're bending it more.
Because I'm your trainer.
Look at this.
Look at that.
How come I couldn't bend it back? So weird.
Because I touched you and you're back to normal. Right?
Okay, let's
Try again.
What's the secret?
Try again. Try again. Try again. The power's gone.
Power's gone.
The power is gone. The power is gone.
Yeah, I can't.
Try to straighten it out.
No.
Try to straighten it out. That's because the power
Wait a
is
minute,
gone.
no, just straightening.
Is the power back? Let me see.
Did I straighten a little bit?
No, I don't think so. Watch your trainer. You ready?
You're twisting.
Watch. Watch your trainer's power.
You're twisting.
Watch your trainer's power. Watch your trainer's power. Look.
Holy moly.
That's why I'm the trainer.
And you're not going to tell me what the
Fist
science
bump.
behind
Good
this is.
trick.
Good trick.
It's magic.
That's a good one.
Hey, Robert.
That's a good one. Hey.
Okay, hey, we're back. Before we get started, you want to see my favorite elastic band move lately? It's called Molecular Fusion from Dr. Cyril Thomas on his latest release. Bander Action is what it's called. Watch. 1, 2, boom. Just like that. How about that? Pretty cool, eh? So, you saw the performance, and if you're a professional magician, and first, if you don't know me, my day job is that my wife and I own a personal training studio. So that's why I kind of worked the story around the routine into that and performed it for a client who hates not to know how a trick is done. I thought for this kind of a weird effect, he'd be a good person. I tried it on a lot of different people, but I liked the fact that he's very skeptical and he likes magic, but he doesn't like being fooled. But you could see if you're a professional magician that I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with it, but I've always wanted to work on this effect. I love magic with everyday objects where they really happen with the spectator. They're easier to find instances to perform and use as a promotion for yourself. My preferred performances are dinner parties, parlor style, where you can do a little more close up or a little more stage, back in and out depending on how the crowd is reacting and what kind of a get together it is. They pay really well because again it's a very personal event. There's just a lot about it. Maybe I'll talk about that in a different video sometime. I really like that kind of setting. But, as an icebreaker in the type of magic that I perform, and to let people know that I do perform magic, I need to use everyday items. I can't just be whipping out a deck of cards or a sponge ball or something, like a Sharpie's better. I really like elastics because they're sort of semi-exotic. They're not totally unnatural, like everybody's seen an elastic band. And it's not that weird that I'm carrying elastic bands. But then you can kind of do wild, wacky magic with them, and they're easy to carry and that sort of thing. So that's where I'm going. I've always wanted to do this key trick, and the thing is, it was only sold by Prop Dog, and I'm in Canada, and they're over in the UK, so I never really got around to ordering it because I could just tell right away that, like any effect that requires gimmicks, if you want your performances to be good, you have got to allow yourself some room to improv. If you just stick into a script, you know what, if it's the greatest script in the world, it's going to work. But really, in most situations, to be more dynamic and take advantage of situations where I could perform a trick quick to promote myself, I like the room to improv. But that means that the gimmicks have to be damn near foolproof. They can't be letting me down even a quarter of the time. It's just too much. They have to be high quality, and I don't mind paying for high quality. And that's where this story converges, because you know, the boys at Prop Dog have started really working on reviews and putting up reviews online. And one of the reviews was for the Omega deck, and obviously we totally disagreed. Well, the boys at Prop Dog would know that we totally disagreed about it, because, as Alex proved, went to the trouble, which I really appreciate, of proving you can make one of them cheap. But is it as good as Omega? I don't know. Maybe he's better at making that kind of stuff than me, but I've tried, and I never got one that would hold up over time or be really reliable. So I didn't mind paying the extra money for the Omega deck, because it's practically bulletproof. Even with the worst of spectators, it's held up. I have not had issues with it. And it's really sort of great when you get goofy spectators that aren't doing what you're asking them to do, and they're just making a mockery of things or just a mess of things, and then the trick still comes through. It's like boom, boom. It's like a double punch, and everybody watching is like, whoa. You know, that spectator was doing what they could to mess up the trick, and it still like blew us all away. So I really appreciate good props, and which is why I appreciate good reviews. I mean, I've bought stuff like this. When I was a kid, I bought this. You put a deck of cards in it, and you took one of the cards from the top and put it through like a blade, and one of the cards from the bottom, they didn't have to know that, and put it through and as a blade, and then you push the middle out. Seemed like a great idea, and I'm sure if I performed it right here on camera, you'd want to buy a bunch of them. You'd be like, wow, that's great. And then you get it, and it's just a cheap, you know, piece of wood. I mean, and there's some time and effort put into making this thing, but not that much, and not for the money that I paid for it as a kid, like 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, probably like 40 years ago now. I paid well over $100 for this thing, and I got the deck with the center cut out and just a regular card on top and bottom. And you're supposed to handle it like it's a regular deck and kind of try to spread it and then put it in, and then you remove those cards as the blades, and then you got a zigzag deck like the Zigzag Woman. And that's fine and dandy. It's a great visual, but you could never get away with it. The deck was just so goofy, it was almost impossible for a deck switch. And, you know, it's not really close up, but it's not really big enough to be something you could do at a distance. I don't know. I felt really ripped off, and I've bought lots of tricks like that over the years. So I'm fully familiar with the need to have review channels and how it can all save us a lot of money. Not just because you're not going to get scammed by a bad trick or a cheap trick or a trick that won't last if it's something you want to perform all the time, but also finding stuff that suits your style. And, you know, you can see that with the Prop Dog reviews. The boys, Jamie and Alex, they have different styles. And when you watch Prop Dog live, which I highly recommend, you know, Dave weighs in, and sometimes they get other magicians to weigh in, and other magicians who are watching live will write in and weigh in on different opinions. And those are all really important in helping you find effects that are worth your money, worth your time, especially if you're trying to combine effects, you know, like different effects with keys, with a good ring flight, and a good bending routine, metal bending routine, and that sort of thing. Like when you're trying to combine props and find the right ones, you don't want to have to go through a bunch. Like, I'll give you an example. Here's a little thing that I bought. I don't know if you can see that little key. And what it was supposed to be was you were supposed to be able to show it closely to the spectator and sort of wiggle your finger like that, and slowly, slowly the key would bend miraculously, you know, just like that, and you'd end up with a bent key. And then if you did some fancy work, you could hand the key out. You know, I don't know if it looks that much the same, but anyway, not a great trick. Great if I went to the trouble of recording that to music at the right angle, and I had a spectator examining a key ahead of time, and then I did that effect, and then I handed it out to be inspected by them to try to unbend afterwards. I could make it look good on video. Let me tell you, it's not worth the money that I paid for it, and I could never make it work live, even though I love the trick. But I've always wanted to try the Prop Dog one, and I was watching the Prop Dog live, and ironically, I threw in a card number, which is the force card of my Omega deck, in their contest, and I ended up winning a trick from them. Something I actually always wanted. I knew I would just, I don't know if I'd ever perform it, but I do stuff like a coin bend. I do the Meni Leinfeld coin bend, ox bender routine, which I absolutely love. And I won this. I asked for this out of the grouping of things on their website that I don't know if you can see that you can choose from, you know, and it was time to order from them. I mean, it's just funny that I threw in my force card, and the first Prop Dog Live I ever managed to tune into, I always watch it on the repeat on YouTube. I win an item. I said, you know what? I've been meaning to review the reviewers. I've been meaning to do a series on them and show other magicians how you can use those channels to your advantage, because they each have their style of reviewing, and I've always wanted to do the key thing. So I ordered the key trick. You saw the performance. What do I think of it? Well, you know, it's really interesting because just as of today when I'm recording this, for the first time, someone else is suddenly offering the same effect for the first time. I've never known anyone to offer the effect except for Prop Dog. And, you know, what's funny is they don't overcharge for it. It's a very affordable effect. I mean, because you're going to need a new gimmick every time you perform it, they've made it very affordable, which is fantastic. But it also makes you think that maybe it's not that amazing a trick. But like all tricks, it's as amazing as you can make it when you perform it. You know, it's not about the key thing. Like, you can barely see the key probably in my video most of the time. It's about how you're getting the spectator to react when they're able to not do something, then they can do something, then they can't do something. You know, there's a convincer there that magic is actually happening, and it's just a lot of fun all around. And now someone's offering the same effect out of the States and saying that it's a closely guarded secret. They're saying they don't use the same method to manufacture the gimmicks as Prop Dog. They're saying that the keys are so easy to bend, the kid could bend it with one hand, but the spectator can't bend it back. You know, it's all pretty amazing stuff. Now, I'll say this. That trick I just showed you, you couldn't bend this key back, so maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. The difference is they're charging a lot of money for it. And I'll tell you something, that could be a really good thing, or that could just be a marketing thing. Murphy's is going to carry it, and you know, they're a big distributor, and you know, they know that pricing, if you don't price something high enough, often it's not perceived as being really good quality. So I'm interested to see, because suddenly when I'm bringing this up, there's another product on the line, but it's very expensive. It's got to be 4 times the price or more of the Prop Dog version. So it would have to be at least twice as good. Doubly as good. I don't see how, because it just kind of is what it is, but it would have to be at least twice as good for me to want to pay more money for it. And lo and behold, the Prop Dog guys, even though they're not going to carry it, they're still going to bring one in and give a review on it. So that in itself shows you how good review shows are, and how come the Prop Dog guys, in my opinion, have gone from just starting a review show to being the top of my review list. Because they're not afraid to disagree with people. They're not afraid to speak their mind. They're not afraid to show you who they are genuinely, and which helps explain why they like or don't like certain products. They're not even afraid to perform products before they've had a lot of time to work on it. You know, they want you to make good purchases, smart purchases. And I guess that kind of gives you a quick review of the effect with the key. I mean, you saw me doing it with Robert. I have no practice at it. I've only done it a few times, and I already like the way it's turning out. I mean, the routine might turn into something completely different later on, but I really like the effect. It's really just very good quality. Not hard to control. You know, these things, different people have different finger strength, and they react very differently in their ability to bend and unbend things. Really differently. Like, there's a wide spectrum there. There's a reason why a lot of people don't do this trick, I think, because you really have to have spectator management as soon as you see how good they are or aren't at bending a key. There's a little finesse you have to do there, but generally it's a fairly straightforward trick that you can, you know, once you have some sense of how the spectator's going with it, you can really jazz up the routine. There's a lot of room to work with there because there's no difficult sleights involved. You can make them as difficult as you want. I tried some really fancy ways to do the sleight part of the move, and I ended up going back to the good old nothing. It just seems to draw the least attention. I think it worked in the performance you saw. There's other things I could have done, like I'm going to put the key in my hand and I'm going to bend it, and then I'm actually making the key vanish, and then say, but that wouldn't be very magical, and not make it vanish apparently and hand it back and have them do the bend. I've even thought of using the Raven, you know, pull, that type of thing, but you know, the old faithful, just simple stuff worked. So where was I going with this? I don't want to get too lost. I don't want this to go on forever. The bottom line is, reviews are very helpful, and their reviews and their ability to connect with other magicians, especially through Prop Dog Live, where, you know, I don't even know if the boys know at Prop Dog how helpful they are when they're just spitballing about ideas and people are asking questions, and other magicians that are in the live feed are helping answer those questions, and how, if you want it, you know, they helped me out about this Omega deck, and I'd never ordered anything from them. They'd never even made a penny from them. And now they've made a customer for life just from doing that. And their service was great. I mean, DHL, I use DHL, and they're bizarre. They're very complicated to deal with. But, you know, couriers can be funny either way. But otherwise, like, I mean, Prop Dog gave me a massive quote on all the different couriers I could choose and all the different price ranges they offered. They went to the trouble of giving me this like detailed quote, and the stuff they sent, the recommendation, I got the sponge ball trick that changes colors, and the recommendation was exactly as they said when they were reviewing it on Prop Dog Live. You know, I just can't say enough about them. And I'm not being paid to say this. You know, I got one free trick. And I do a little bit feel obligated because, you know, they went that extra mile for me. But honestly, this is a shop to deal with. And this is a guy in Canada talking. Like, you know, I usually order from Penguin. You know, if I'm ordering something in, I always got it from Penguin. They gave me the white glove service, like literally the white glove. They would show me videos of them packing my items with white gloves on. And I would always get it by FedEx. And then FedEx went crazy in COVID and doubled their prices, and it's just silliness, you know, doubling their price. Like, it's just crazy. And then they still charge brokerage on top of their doubled courier price. Like, and unfortunately, Penguin doesn't offer anything beside FedEx. They don't even offer FedEx at different levels. There's like one way to get it by courier, or they just throw it in the mail and God only knows what happens, especially these days. Like, I'm going to trust the US or the Canadian mail in this pandemic when, like, it seems like they're barely working, you know, half the time. It's just nuts. So it's a breath of fresh air going to the Prop Dog guys. It took no time to get my stuff. The prices were well worth everything that I paid for. Real square deal. These guys are meat and potatoes, magic shop, or bangers and mash, or whatever you call it over there. You know, just, I really appreciate them. I love the style of all the other reviewers and magic shops. Like, a lot of them, you know, Illusionist has this style, and Theory 11, and everybody has their style and everything, but Penguin is just like trying to be helpful. They're trying to be real, and they're trying to be real helpful. And it's just a real weight off the shoulders getting information from them, instead of navigating all the other complicated world that's vying for attention on social media. They're a real breath of fresh air. So thanks, guys. You did a wonderful job. I'll get on to the rest of the reviewers in part 2. I hope everybody enjoyed the performance there, and I haven't bored you too much with all this yap. And happy Thanksgiving. I'll have some new videos, short little effects like I usually do, up again soon over the weekend, and a couple of more long form ones coming in this coming week. Again, the review thing, and one is a little shout out to Pig Cake and his channel. And that's it. So peace out. Be good.